Hey there, friends and farmers. Welcome to another episode of the Growing Farms Podcast. I'm your host, John Siskovich, and today's episode is going to be an Ask APA show, the American Pastured Poultry Producers Association. So what I did is at one of the annual APA conferences, I brought my camera, brought my microphone, brought my friend Mike, and we recorded interviews with about 24 people. And I asked those 24 people the same 4 questions. And the wonderful thing about this community is that our heart, the core mission of what we're trying to do, is build healthy soil. And we do that by raising animals on pasture. Now, if we're all there for the same reason, to learn and grow together, we are all bringing our own level of commitment, our own piece to the puzzle to those annual conferences, and that is great. So with those 4 questions and the 4 different answers, we're going to be doing this podcast series, which I will duplicate on YouTube a little bit to share that information with you, because the wealth of knowledge at this conference is just astounding. So today's episode is going to be with Ginger Shields of Pastured Life Farm in North Central Florida. And the first question that I asked Ginger was, what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were starting out? Your advice for the new guy.
My name is Ginger Shields, and I am from Pastured Life Farm located in North Central Florida. I wish that I knew when we began farming that it was okay to say no, that it was okay to say we don't need to produce chickens year-round. We didn't need to have beef available 100% of the time. We didn't need to have pork available 100% of the time. It wasn't a sustainable model for a small farm to have everything for everyone all the time. And we carried a tremendous amount of burden. Like we have to produce more, so we don't have to tell people no. And we scaled up faster than what we were ready for. And so I really wish that I had known, or could go back to my former self and say, it's okay. You can tell people no. You can explain why we have seasons, why nature has seasons, and why we replicate that in our farm model.
I really loved that piece of advice, because something that I have heralded here on Farm Marketing Solutions is the desire, the need, the strategy of pushing consistency in your market, having chicken available all the time so that when people want chicken, you're the go-to person to provide it for them. And I thought that was a core fundamental thing to your farm strategy, especially if you want to get into wholesale accounts. And what Ginger highlighted here is that building the model around not only what the customer wants, but what you can and want to do as a farmer as well is really important for the long-term viability and sustainability of you actually sticking with it. And if you're consistent with what you offer, when you offer it, and your messaging points that out, and it's easy for people to do business with you, that is just a fantastic piece of advice. If you don't like farming, you are not going to stick with it, and that's hard. It's like, why stick with something that you don't like to do? Which brings me into my next question. I asked Ginger, what is the most enjoyable part about being a farmer?
For us, for my husband and I'm speaking for both of us, but I believe that the most enjoyable aspect of farming is that we get to work with people that we kind of like. We get to work with our family, we get to work with our kids, we get to be together. I'm not sending my husband off for his 9-to-5 job, packing his lunch, and he's coming home miserable after spending an hour and a half in traffic, and we're not apart for 16 hours a day. We're working together. We both want to work on our farm, better our farm, and work with our kids and teach them the values and the morals and things that they can't learn anywhere else but on our farm.
That was a great answer, Ginger. I really appreciate the feedback. And for me, that also, I'm going to just say ditto. The fact that I am usually working on farm or working somewhere, but if my family wants to come find me, they can come find me and they know where I'm going to be located. The fact that I get to work with friends, business partners who are my friends, and anybody who's a staff here at the farm, the brewery, we just have the most amazing people, and that makes the day-to-day very enjoyable. At times it is a grind. Not every day is a holiday. But the fact that I'm a member of APA and I have all those people to turn to, I have a wonderful business here in Western Connecticut, and that my family is around all the time. I can structure my schedule, it's a lot of work hours, but I can structure my schedule to be around for dinners, to be around for school send-offs. If there's something that needs to get done in the family, my family always comes first. And the fact that I get to work and live around all these amazing people is why I did this in the first place. It's not, being self-sufficient is kind of a farce. If you're being out in isolation by yourself is depressing and very difficult because you're not going to be able to do everything by yourself. So to surround yourself with wonderful people I have that community, I have that connection, and I have that strength for when I'm feeling weak, there is someone there to help prop me up. And when someone else in my community is not feeling 100%, I am there to prop them up. And there's been a really good balance through the years. So for me, that has been valuable as well. And I appreciate, Ginger, your response to that question. Now, my next question, because this is Farm Marketing Solutions, and that's what the channel and the podcast is all about, I wanted to know, Ginger, what is one of your greatest farm marketing successes, and how'd you get there? And then what is one of your biggest struggles, and then what do you do about that?
I think for our farm, our biggest marketing success has been the ability to get out there and put ourselves out there, to become comfortable and confident in what we're doing because of organizations like the American Pastured Poultry Producers Association, and become confident in our practices, confident that we're bettering our environment, we're bettering the soil, and that the chicken that we're producing is far superior to anything that's available in the grocery stores. And so having those tools in our pocket to be able to approach customers, approach people at meetings like at Weston A. Price chapter meetings, or at a CrossFit gym where we just kind of, pop in during a session and talk about our product, and having those tools or that the level of education and information available to us to share that and just feel that confidence in our product that we didn't have when we were first starting out. Our biggest marketing struggle has been definitely making the time. Marketing it's another job. You're a farmer, you're a family, you're a mom, you're a dad, but you're also a marketer and a salesman. And so you have to make the time to market your farm. You have to schedule that time into your already busy, crazy life. And so that's our biggest marketing struggle, our biggest marketing failure. It's our area that we plan to improve on the most for the next few years, is just work on our marketing. Our markets are changing. Our customers are changing, our demographics are changing. We have people much younger than us that are having food awakenings, and so we need to be able to reach them. And that's a challenge to keep up with it.
Now that is a great response, because a lot of people get into farming because they're introverted, or being out in the field by yourself, you spend a lot of time alone. A lot of farmers like to grow, fix, nurture, be, animal husbandry, however you verb that. But not all of us are outgoing. And it's amazing that you might hear me say that I've recorded 650, pushing 700 videos now, and I still get uncomfortable when someone else is watching me record. I'm comfortably down here in my basement talking to a camera alone with my dog asleep on the floor. That is where my comfort zone is, and it has been a journey for me to be comfortable enough to walk into a room and be like, "Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is John Skovich." That is something that I've worked on over time, and being comfortable putting yourself out there, sharing that information. You are passionate about agriculture. Otherwise, you are not. Why are you listening to this podcast or watching this video on YouTube? Because you want to do this. There's a reason why you are committed. You're following Farm Marketing Solutions because you're starting to make a business out of it, or look at a lifestyle change, and you want to, there's something in you that just drives you to get back to the land, to live a healthier lifestyle, to produce food that is nutritious and supports your community. And that is amazing. That passion, that heart, that fire that you feel right here, share that with people. Don't be afraid. And with me, there's a lot of fish in the sea. I get farm tours every weekend. Sometimes my jokes land, sometimes they don't. I've learned to read a room and see how that conversation is going. Putting myself out there, you do it and you're going to fail sometimes. And then you're going to do it and you're going to succeed sometimes. And you're going to be like, that farmer's market rocked, or that conversation that I had with that person really went well. And when it goes well, or if it goes poorly, learn from those circumstances. If it went really well, why did it go well? Because you connected around this certain topic. Is that something that you can reach other people with? If it didn't go well, was it because you misstepped or misspoke, or maybe it wasn't the right person? Think about sales as dating. You're not going to date everybody. Not everybody's going to be a perfect match. You're going to have good customers and you're going to have bad customers. You're going to have easy customers and you're going to have hard customers. And you shouldn't spend all your time trying to convert people. You should serve the people who want what you already have to offer. It's a little bit easier to sell that way. And you're going to find those people by sharing your passion, sharing your ideals, sharing your story, sharing your name on your website, please. It becomes easier over time, but I'll tell you, it can be a struggle. So just have the confidence in yourself to put your heart out there, get hurt a little bit, come back from it. Chickens are going to die, cows are going to die, crops are going to go bad, sales are going to be lost, but they're also, chickens are going to grow, cows are going to grow, the grass is going to grow. The sun always shines at some point, and it does get a little easier with time. Now, because I recorded these at an APA conference, the American Pastured Poultry Producers Association, APA.org, and we can put up a little tag there. I wanted to know, what are the benefits of joining APA? What are the benefits of going to the conference? What do people get out of being part of this organization? For me, I'm a paying member. I have an annual subscription that I renew. I get the newsletters. I'm part of the forum. It's amazing. I just learn so much all the time. And for when I can't answer other people's questions, I post questions on the forum and get questions back from people all over the country. It's really amazing. So I asked Ginger, what is the best part about being an APA member, and what is the best part about being at the conference?
The biggest benefit to being an APA member is access. You have instant, almost, access to professionals producing twice as much, 3 times as much, maybe even 100 times as many chickens as you are. They've been doing it longer. They've experienced the same failures that you have. And if you can learn from another farmer's failures and prevent that failure yourself, it's going to be so much easier for you in the long run if you can learn from another person's failure. I can't remember who said that quote, but anyone can learn from another person's success, but a truly intelligent person can learn from other people's failures. And we all have a sharp learning curve as farmers. And so if we're able to maybe lessen that curve, maybe lessen the blow a little bit, maybe prevent some of those catastrophic things that naturally happen as farmers because we don't control the weather, we don't control the environment, we don't control so many factors. Who would choose a job where you have just so little control over anything? It's like, I'm going to go into this job where there's 100 outside variables that I have zero control over and still expect to have a good outcome. What a terrible idea, but we all do it, right? So, and that's where the APA conference becomes an invaluable tool, is you get to see these farmers that you've been interacting with, maybe on the listserv or via email, and you get to be in the same room together. You get to commiserate a little bit together, shake each other's hands, understand each other's struggles, and nowhere else can you get a bunch of pastured poultry producers who are already kind of out here on the fringe in the same room and just be together. And that's really cool. And the unconference model is really, really cool. Nobody needs to have another person on a pulpit selling you something, telling you what you should or shouldn't do. We need to be together. We're better together.
Ginger, that's a good plug, and I will say that Ginger is on the board of APA, and she has been a big inspiration for me. She is kind, caring, and tough as nails. She is everything you would want in one person, and just the great representation of what I feel the future of agriculture is. She's been doing it for a while with her husband Dave and all of her children. She is now a good friend of mine. We text back and forth, and just the fact that she put herself out there, recorded the video for me, this was really great. And I want to thank you, Ginger, and Dave. Dave's interview will be coming up in the future. But what you're doing with pastured livestock down in North Central Florida and your business model is just an inspiration to a lot of people. If you want to learn more about APA and how to become a member, you can go to apppa.org. There will also be a link underneath this video or at the podcast show notes for this. And if you want to listen to the podcast, subscribe, find it on the most common platforms. You can go to growingfarmspodcast.com. I have summaries, and it's all neatly organized into all my past podcast archives, season 1, 2, and 3, where I tried several different formats. And this is season 4 now, where it's 2020 and we're trying something out. But I have over 100 episodes in the archives. You can find those on Google Podcasts, on iTunes, on Stitcher, and on Spotify, and probably a bunch of smaller stuff. If you can't find it on your platform, write in and we will submit the feed to that so that you can get it as well. But this is a new type of podcast that I'm doing. I'm going to do these APA interviews as well as some farm updates through the year. Now that I have this medium back again, I fixed all the technical problems, which feels really good. But growingfarmerspodcast.com is going to be all the information you need. And if you have already subscribed and done all that, feel free to leave me an honest review on any of those platforms. It helps the podcast get discovered. Thanks for taking the time to listen and or watch, because we're releasing this in both video and audio format on YouTube and on all the pod catching things. And until next time, I will see you out in the field.